Good evening, everyone. My name is Rob, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the lesser-known dangers of concentrated animal feeding operations, or CAFOs, as I'll be referring to them from now on. All right. So, prior to me even coming up with the idea for this speech, in the past, last year, I did a lot of research. Was involved with me watching several different documentaries. I had to read multiple different publications, as well as did multiple essays on this topic. So, pretty well read on it. And real quick, just to see where we're at, by show of hands, who here right now would find it hard to not eat meat one day out of the week? You would find it hard? All right, awesome. So I know who I'm catering to now. All right. But before we get into exactly how bad CAFOs are, it's important that you know exactly what they are. So just by looking at this picture, you can pretty much tell that the K in CAFO definitely stands for concentrated animals. Okay? So basically what a CAFO is they keep the animals in like a really confined area. They let them grow and they feed them throughout the period, and the end goal is taking them to the slaughterhouse in mass numbers and slaughter. Right? With CAFOs, as mentioned by Cynthia, they create these feces lagoons, which are incredibly disgusting if you live in the area, and if you work in this area, could have really negative health effects for you. All right. Quick little fact here. So we're just talking about hogs. Out of all the different CAFOs, just talking about hogs in one state, that being Utah. Can anybody try to guess exactly how much waste is produced by hogs alone in Utah? Nobody? Pretty crazy number. It's 50 million tons per year. And to try to put that into perspective for you, that's the equivalent of about 280 million people, 50 million short of the population of the United States. And we're just talking about one animal in one state. I know what you're thinking. Rob, what does this have to do with me? How does this relate to me? Well, I got news for you. Breaking news, actually. It is your problem too, and here's why. So there's three big reasons with CAFO, or three big problems with CAFOs. First being, like I said, they torture our livestock, they pollute the environment, and they weaken your health. As far as the livestock is concerned, like I said, they live in really cramped conditions, and they're genetically modified, which means that they grow abnormally fast, and due to their rapid growth, their joints sometimes can't really handle the weight, so they're unable to move around, which ends up with them not being able to eat, and they eventually die. Also, throughout the slaughterhouse, there's a little process, one little step, and that's supposed to slaughter the animals, and if that one step fails, the animals, the chickens, they can end up being dragged through electrified water, which stuns them, and then being skinned and plucked alive, or plucking and skinned alive. All right, and despite all of that, 1/4 of the animals end up being thrown away anyway. That's at the CAFOs, that's at the grocery stores, and that's at your homes too. A lot of waste all around. Pollution. 20% of global emissions is related to CAFOs. That includes the transportation, the feeding the animals, and just everything, big picture. Poorly regulated, they're able to just pretty much dump manure into these little lagoons. They don't have to treat first or anything. And like Cynthia said, runoff and everything leads to toxic water and soil. So in this areas where the CAFOs are, if they've been there for a while, you'll see that just the grass and everything, and the trees, everything's just not able to grow. And your health. So if you don't care about the animals or the environment, hopefully at least you care about yourself. So living near CAFO, as you saw with the manure lagoons, if you know anything about how the atmosphere works, that liquid in there is eventually going to evaporate, gets into the atmosphere, and eventually rain down on you. So if you live in these areas, not the best for your health. Also, they treat the animals with antibiotics, which, when you eat their meat, has a chance of giving you an antibiotic-resistant foodborne pathogen, which is responsible for 23 deaths in the US. Solution. Pretty simple. We need to reduce the CAFO output. By doing so, we'll minimize the livestock that they use, which will also minimize the population, because there's a lot less manure, and it will reduce the damage to your health. All right, but how do we do this? All right, so we pretty much hold the fate for billions of animals, tens of thousands of lives, and the fate of our planet, all on our dining room table. So one way that we can, the one thing that we can do to minimize our damage is to reduce our meat consumption. What I recommend is just only eating meat one day out of the week, if at all possible. You can even do it like on a Sunday, the Sabbath, as you mentioned before. Save the life of an animal on the Sabbath. All right, that's my speech. Thank you. I thought so fast when I